Have you ever been so calm that it scared the people who tried to break you? They wanted chaos, but you gave them silence, and that's what destroyed them. This is not about revenge. This is about evolution. Welcome to the Stoic path. I used to think I had to fight back. That silence made me weak, that if someone disrespected me, I had to let them know, loud and clear. But life has a way of humbling you. I remember a time years ago when someone I once trusted started turning people against me. Quietly, behind my back, I felt betrayed. I wanted to defend myself, to shout the truth, but something told me, wait, just watch. And that's when I discovered something life-changing, Stoicism. Because you don't need fists, you don't need revenge, you just need to become untouchable. Let me share with you 4 Stoic ways I've learned to hurt those who hate you without lifting a single finger. 1. Stay still when they try to shake you. Your silence is not weakness, it's power. When people throw words at you like knives, they expect you to bleed. They want a reaction, anger, rage, proof that they still matter. But when you give them nothing, they crumble. I've been there, standing in a room where people whispered my name with poison on their tongues. And I looked up, smiled, and kept moving. No defense, no fight. Epictetus said, "It is not he who reviles or strikes you who insults you, but your opinion that these things are insulting." So now, when someone tries to provoke me, I don't flinch. I breathe, I observe, and I let them drown in their own noise. Because in a world full of chaos, the man who stays still is the most dangerous one in the room. 2. Build a life so disciplined it exposes their weakness. Let me ask you something. What if the best revenge was no revenge at all? What if your routine, your discipline, your peace was enough to break your enemies? Years ago, I made a decision. Wake up early, train, reflect, stay focused. And while those who hated me wasted their energy gossiping, I was sculpting my mind and body, quietly, steadily. I didn't do it to show off. I did it because I refused to rot in the same bitterness they lived in. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Your greatness is a mirror, and when your enemies look into it, they see what they could have been, but chose not to become. You don't need to call them out. You just need to become the version of yourself they'll never reach. 3. Outlast their hate. Hate burns fast, but discipline endures like stone. Some people carry hate like it's their identity. They hold on to it for years while the rest of the world moves on. I've seen it firsthand. A man who hated me for something I barely remember, he kept trying to bring me down years after I had already healed and moved on. And that's when I realized the best way to win is to walk away so far, for so long, that one day, your enemies look up and realize you're not even in the same world anymore. Seneca said, "How much better to heal a wrong than to avenge one." Let them stay in the past. You build your future calmly, steadily, like a man who knows where he's going. Because while they fight old battles, you're already building a kingdom. 4. Forgive them and mean it. This is the hardest one, not because they deserve it, but because you do. I used to carry anger quietly. I thought I had moved on, but deep down I hadn't. I still replayed conversations, still imagined what I'd say if I ran into them again, until one morning, during a cold walk, I whispered to myself, "I forgive you, I release you," and something shifted. I didn't forgive out of weakness. I forgave from strength, from a place they could never reach. Marcus Rufus said, "It is not enough to refrain from harming others. We must also not wish them harm." That's Stoic power. Forgiveness with clarity, with boundaries, with no intention of reconnecting, but every intention of being free. When you forgive your enemies and mean it, you tell them, "You don't live in my mind anymore. You can't poison me. You're not strong enough to make me hate you." And that cuts deeper than any insult ever could. You know, I didn't always know how to handle hate. There was a time I carried it like armor, thinking the more I held on to the pain, the stronger I became. But in truth, it was only making me bitter. It wasn't until I stopped reacting that I started rebuilding. I stopped explaining myself. I stopped looking back. And the silence. At first, it was uncomfortable, but over time, it became peace. People who once hurt me, they're still where I left them. Still fighting ghosts I stopped chasing years ago. What I gained wasn't applause. It wasn't dominance. It was clarity. I began waking up without the weight of proving myself. I trained not to impress, but to become unshakable. And I forgave. Not because they deserved it, but because I deserve to move forward. That's why I'm sharing this. Not because I think I'm wiser than you, but because I've been through the fire, and I walked out quieter, sharper, free. So if you're holding on to that hate, drop it. If they're trying to pull you into the storm, stay still. Let them watch you grow. Let them see what real power looks like. Not in noise, not in rage, but in the calm that can't be broken. And one day, they'll realize the war they started, you already walked away from. This is Walled Mind. If that message struck something inside you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You're not alone in this path. We walk it together, silently, strongly, forward.